Greetings, all praise the King. On this day, July 16th, 1931, the Constitution of Ethiopia was signed that the Emperor had drafted for our people to come together. For even as the Christ had come before to declare that all are chosen, that the law is set before us, and this is the way to the kingdom. Originally, the law to come forth from the inspiration of the Spirit, also known as the Word. This is the Word that governed I people. There was a need for a ruler to come to bring my people forward. This history tells of the ancestry of our Lord, who has come as it was written from the lineage of King David. In modern days, there would be a guideline to assist the rulers. This feather nagast being known as the Law of Kings. Our Lord knew of these times that the world was encompassing upon the Holy Land. And King Selassie sought to be the demonstration to show that even as he has ruled according to the world's instructions, the world defied him. And so in the drafting of this Constitution, he employed foreigners, which was almost unheard of in this region. And against those desires of his subordinates. For the logic was thus, King, if you are all supreme, then how shall you have to draft a constitution to empower those underneath you? Even being stated that this was the first of its kind for an absolute monarchy to give those underneath rights. In truth and not on the surface to show the gross injustice of mankind. That even though the king had so-called played by man's rules, man still sought to destroy the kingdom. Was it modeled after the foreign rule? One could argue perhaps in format. Yet the conceptual principality remained authentic to I rule. This consisting of the principal proclamation that the king is the supreme ruler, having authority from descending from that seed. The king then set up a parliament which would consist of two chambers, one upper chosen by the emperor and a lower which was made up of local tribal leaders. Now, the actual draft being approved by the body made up of the nobles and the ministers, who did have a disagreement. The nobles, born as races, inherited great wealth in the form of land, which traditionally was passed on. The ministers, not having this privilege, disagreed and sought that the land be used for the opportunity of all. The king decided to be in charge. That those that went against could lose these privileges. This law, even stated by the king, is the obligation of government to define every contract made between men, so that security and peace is created for the conditions of life in the world. A contract, one must agree on. For what contract would one enter in that one does not agree with? Many nations have their own rule. Even the king, having made provisions for those foreigners governed under a separate system of rule. It is your choice whether you choose to be ruled by I way or those pagan gods, even the prince of darkness. During the ceremony, the speech was made. We were thinking that it was not enough for us to thank Lord with words alone for the trust we had received from Jah to guard Ethiopia and for granting us this high rank of emperor. Nor was it sufficient to appease with minor deeds and with what was of benefit to ourselves only. Although we were striving to set up a constitution that was of benefit extending to everybody, enduring forever, and being transmitted from generation to generation. This was still not enough to repay Lord's favor, because we wish to reveal to you our intention of entrusting to Jah the fulfillment of the task we had begun. We have assembled you here for this hour in a great gathering. Nobody will fail to appreciate that law is the greatest benefit to every man. It is from the equity of law that honor and advantage arise. It is from the deficiency of law that distress and damage result. It is through failure to set up law that violence and injury grow. While Jah, being above every creature, would not find it difficult to issue orders by I word only. Yet the instituting law is because Jah knew that law should be the supreme ruler of the whole world. He who merits being called just among men, in whatsoever sphere it may be, is the person who strives and endeavors by the knowledge given to him to benefit the majority, even though not all mankind as a whole, when pursuing his principal aims. Let us pursue our principal aim in unity and in all humility to our God, Jah.